There was that part of me that was getting all psyched up for this particular match. You know, it was like, okay, we're done messing around. We're gonna get in there, figure, you know, win a couple of games, finally get into Master Ball tier. Yeah, I've been having a really rough time of it this season. Oh well, perseverance. And then I saw their team and went, oh boy. Because that's the kind of team that is. That is very much an oh boy sort of team. But that's okay, because we have options too. I hope. No, we do. But oh boy, like that is a spicy looking team over there for kind of a variety of reasons. Okay. Yeah, so they've got that pseudo stall Dondozo Dondozo Ting Lu combination. They've got they've just got a lot of stuff. That's all kind of messy, which is fine. So we're going to lead with, I think, the ideal pairing to kind of get through several of their potential leads. And ideal may or may not be the right word for it, but at least it's potentially good. We'll just have to see what they decide to lead, because they have multiple different ways that they can run this. Okay, so they do decide to go with the Ting Lu Dondozo. Which, to be perfectly frank, that was kind of what I was anticipating. I expect the Ting Lu to go for something like Stealth Rocks on the first turn. Dondozo might go for a Yawn. I could see them potentially going for Protect. Unfortunately, I don't really know the set on the opponent. This particular, the Dondozo Ting Lu combination. Don't know that particular, their moveset terribly well. I do think that Calyrex and Rillaboom is a very good start into that combination. Okay, so they decide to go for Protect on the Ting Lu. And they just go for the double Protect in turn 1. Okay, that's cool. So, I think in this circumstance, what do I think is going to be the best option here? I think they're probably going to Terra. If I had to guess, I would say they're going to Terra the Ting Lu. So, I think this is actually a very good opportunity to just double into the Dondozo and see if we can't make some significant progress on the thing. Because Dondozo, in general, is just a real pain. I do not like fighting Dondozo. I don't know if I ever will like fighting the giant catfish. But, yeah, we'll throw a couple of grass attacks at it. Hopefully manage to throw enough grass damage at it that we get the knockout. That would be wonderful. But we'll see. We will just have to see how that goes. With the Ting Lu being there, it does mean that Calyrex is unfortunately not going to be doing nearly as much damage. Okay, that's respectable. Like, we'll get it in a turn or two, I think. It's Ruination into the Rillaboom. Okay, that's actually quite nice. Yawn into the Calyrex. Can't say I like that, but, you know, it's okay. I think I will do the swap on the Cali. Dondozo is almost certainly going to Protect in this next turn. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to U-turn off of the Ting Lu. And we're going to switch in the Ogerpon into the Calyrex slot, with the thought process here being that we can U-turn off of the Ting Lu, get Calyrex back in the turn where the Dondozo protects. Ogerpon can threaten significant damage into the Ting Lu, as well as the Dondozo, and Calyrex can threaten the cleanup. Hopefully with his Focus Sash intact. So we'll see. Okay, so there's the swap. That's what the Yawn does. The good news being, of course, that they don't have spikes or stealth rocks up, so they're not threatening to break my Focus Sash as a direct result of it. Okay, there's a Protect. Yep, and there's going to get more grassy terrain leftovers recovery. Okay, here's the U-turn. Boop. And just a little bit of damage. Okay, so they do have a rocky helmet on that thing. Not surprised. I'm pretty sure that's the standard set. Okay, back into Calyrex. I do feel rather comfortable going back into Calyrex in this circumstance because the Ting-Lu does not usually carry directly offensive moves. Its closest thing is Sand Tomb, which it goes for and misses because it's only an 85% accurate move. So, fun times. Okay, now the question becomes here, what do I want to do? I really, really want the knockout on the Dondozo. So, I think we are going to lock in a Giga Drain and a Grassy Glide into the Dondozo. Possibility that the Grassy Glide will just get the knockout, which would be cool, but if it doesn't, then the Giga Drain will clean it up. They could, of course, go for swapping something else into that particular slot. If they do, neat, then we get free damage on that. Well, mostly free damage on that. But we will just have to see. Here comes the Grassy Glide. Okay, that picks up the KO, which means that we get a Giga Drain into the Ting-Lu over there, which is going to start chipping away at its health, which is wonderful. Yep, solid damage, despite the Vessel of Ruin. Goes for another Sand Tomb, misses it. While part of me is sympathetic toward the opponent, the other part of me is not. And I will admit that is why, if I'm going to use a trapping move, a multi-turn trapping move, I significantly prefer, like very, very significantly prefer using, do I need to spend that? I kind of want to, just to make sure. Yeah, okay, we're going to do that. I really, yeah. So, significantly prefer using Infestation over Sand Tomb. Sorry, it took me a little while to finish that particular thought. But Infestation definitely, the fact that it's 100% accurate, it does a similar amount of chip, has a similar effect of trapping your opponent. Ultimately, good things across the board. So, going for the Fire Terra on the Ogerpon to boost its attack. And they just go for the Protect on the Calyrex, which is completely fine. Which will let us start getting some damage out into the Zamazenta from the Astral Barrage here. Zamazenta is going to be going for the Wide Guard next turn, of course, because we're demonstrating the fact that we've got the Astral Barrage. They have not spent their Terra yet. Grass disappears from the battlefield. Yep. So, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? I think this is actually a good turn to swap into my Zamazenta. And go for the... Actually, no. We're going to swap into Zamazenta, go for a Spiky Shield on the Ogerpon. Because I'm not interested in playing the speed tie game. I'm not interested in trying to avoid the Wide Guard. Ultimately, what I'd love to see happen is I'd love to get Ogerpon out on the field safely with grassy terrain back out on the field safely. Okay, we see a Protect from the Zamazenta over there, which is great. I think the real question here comes down to whether or not they have a... yeah, it just comes down to what their... Actually, no, this is a very acceptable option, too. So, alright. I actually think that Rillaboom Ogerpon is the win condition in this circumstance. So, that is why Calyrex is going to go back out. Again, we're just looking for the swap, the safe re-entry of both Rillaboom and Ogerpon onto the field. Ogerpon can deal with the Zamazenta as long as it's got enough health to take an attack. We get to see what their Terra looks like this turn, which is cool. Okay, they're going to go for a Terra on the Zamazenta. Alright, Ogerpon is not the key to dealing with Zamazenta anymore. They most likely did that, though, to avoid a super effective body press. They go for the Encore. I decline being Encored. Zamazenta goes for the Behemoth Bash. Lovely, lovely damage. See what their Zamazenta does. It goes for the body press and gets the knockout. Okay. Alright. So, what does that give me? That gives me Rillaboom coming back in. And that should give a very safe turn of... what does that give me? That gives me a couple of different things here. So I think the first thing is we're going to go for the Fake Out there. And a Giga Drain into their Calyrex. So the single target attack, in case they go for the Wide Guard, which makes sense. So let us see what they decide to do. A lot of maneuvering in this particular game. Okay, they go for the Protect there, which means that the Fake Out will connect into... Nope, they just go for the double Protect. Alright, cool. So what that means is that we're actually going to lock in a double attack into the Calyrex slot. Specifically Grassy Glide and Giga Drain. Again. Because the Grassy Glide should pick up the KO on the Calyrex. If it doesn't, that's quite alright. Either way, we're talking a couple of priority moves. There we go. And yeah, the entire thing here being that the priority moves are the way to get around Calyrex's speed. So that's part of the reason for the Ogerpon carrying Grassy Glide, Rillaboom carrying Grassy Glide. A lot of the Pokemon on this team have priority moves in one way or another, because it allows us the opportunity to outmaneuver opposing Calyrexes so that we can avoid the speed ties. Because I will admit, one of my least favorite things to have to deal with in circumstances like this is speed ties. Alright, so they're going to go back into the Tinglu, which, honestly, it might work out in our favor. We'll see. They might go for the body press into... Yep, so here's a Grassy Glide. Good damage. That will allow Calyrex to pick up the KO. Yep, right there with the Giga Drain. Which, like, that... I don't know. We'll see how that works out for them. Okay, let's see what Zamazenta does. He goes for the body press, picks up the KO into the Rillaboom. Alright. And our Calyrex is now at +1. Okay, so we're back into Ogerpon. And their Calyrex is out. Righto. So I suspect what they're going to do is they're going to protect this turn with their Calyrex and attempt to deal with my Ogerpon. So we're going to Spiky Shield and Astral Barrage. Because that... Yeah, so I think that they're going to protect with their Calyrex and go for a body press into Ogerpon in an effort to knock her out. So the Spiky Shield is meant to block the body press because Zamazenta, if trained properly, will if trained in a way that is meant to outrun Ogerpon, it is going to outrun Ogerpon. And Ogerpon, right now with the +1 attack in the grassy terrain, is how we're going to be able to deal with Calyrex, no problem. They just go for all the protects, man. Okay, fine. That's okay. Because what that means is that this next turn, what they're going to do is either go for a double protect, or they're going to do a wide guard and Astral Barrage. So we have Grassy Glide and Giga Drain as our answer to that particular play. As we've seen before. That is the one downside with going for a double protect to try and scout out, is that then you don't have the flexibility of protecting in the following turn, which is why sometimes it can be worth it to deliberately hit into an opponent's protect in order to preserve your protect on a key Pokemon for the following turn. Alright, so let's see how this goes. They're thinking really hard about what they want to do. Okay, they go for the double protect, and they get the double protect, which isn't great. respect to the opponent for playing to their outs. Frustrating though that be. Now here's hoping that Ogerpon can take a body press. The answer was yes, she can. This is good. Oh man, okay, well that made that more stressful than it needed to be. And this time though, we Grassy Glide and we Astral Barrage. And the reason for that is because the Calyrex has an extremely low chance of successfully pulling off a third Protect. But on the flip side, we are also running out of time on our grassy terrain, which is a very, very key element. I expect the Zamazenta to go for an attack this turn. I very much expect the Calyrex to go for an attack this turn, so... Okay, there's the Wide Guard. It's gonna come down heavily to whether or not Grassy Glide with the +1 is enough. The answer is yes. Cool, so that puts us in a very, very good position. Yes, Zamazenta, you were protected from the Wide Guard, or you were protected from the +1 Astral Barrage this turn. You will not be in the following turn. I mean, unless you just want to sit there using Wide Guard, which you could, but then Ogerpon's just going to be hitting you with an Ivy Cudgel. So, with that in mind, let's... And they surrender. Alright. Well, that was quite the game. A lot of respect to my opponent on that. Great game. Very intense game. Fairly lengthy game. Anyway, though, thank you for watching today's video. Hope you have a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.